What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, the Real Quinn Jr., and I'm back with another video on Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker. Today, I'm going to be ranking all the basic Shinobi Boosts. So basically, any Shinobi Boost that you can get from the 1010 shop, that's what we're going to be going through in this video. So we're not going to be doing any of the special Shinobi Boosts. So if this is something that you think you might be interested in, go ahead and stay tuned. And if you've been here before and you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn the bell notification so you can know whenever I post new videos. But let's go ahead and hop into this content.
Just to lay out your own domain. Wait, so that was the best you could do, Austin. 息がくせえ。
Okay, when we get to the actual, ranking of all these Shinobi Boosts, we're not going to do them in any particular order as far as, which order we're going to put them in. We're just going to put them in a certain category, and, it's just going to be pretty much equal with the rest of those Shinobi Boosts in that category. So, we're going to start off with D rank. These ones are going to be the ones that you could very well use something else, and, there's really no point in having these equipped. We're going to start off with One Man Army. And what this clothing skill is supposed to do is supposed to increase the attack strength of the first strike of a combo. So when I actually tried this out, it really didn't make a difference, and it only added maybe knocking out your opponent maybe in an extra 1 or 2 strikes. So honestly, is it really gonna make that much of a difference? So for that, we gotta put One Man Army at the bottom. And down here with One Man Army, you probably guessed it, we're gonna put Renewed Focus. What this clothing skill does, it's mostly just supposed to allow you to break your opponent's guard quicker. And when I tested this one, you were able to break your opponent's guard while using only one combo anyway. So having this equipped really isn't going to make too much of a difference unless you're going up against somebody that's utilizing Indestructible. Then this could maybe be a little bit more useful. So now we swing up to C rank. We're going to start off with Dodge Determination. And basically this is just supposed to make it harder for your enemies to fall to the ground whenever you're, hit them with air combos, airstrikes. So, if you're using claws or something like that, this is going to make it a little bit more effective. But in general and honestly, how much of a difference is really going to make with them being up in the air a little bit longer? When I tested it, it really didn't make too much of a difference how long they're in the air. So that's why this is going to be a C rank. First Blood, this is supposed to increase the rate at which your secret technique gauge builds. And honestly, it builds a little bit different, but like I said in the video, the First Blood, your secret technique doesn't boost off of how many strikes you land. It goes up off of how long you're engaged in combat. So this one, I feel like it's mainly going to be useful if you're a healer and you're healing the whole team. So if you're using Mind Transmission, Palm Sage Jutsu, then this could come in handy. But if you're just fighting, you could use a whole lot of other things. So we move over to Tenacity Rising. This is one of the first clothing skills I did, and it's basically just supposed to increase the ability of your jutsu to cancel out other people's jutsu. And when I did it, it works for a few things, it increases fireballs and maybe Majestic, and it also supposed to work with ninja tools, so maybe using your Demon Wind Shuriken is going to allow you to overpower somebody else's Shuriken. But for just the minimal effect that it has with certain jutsu, I just don't think it's worth it. It'd be better if you could use the Rasen Shuriken to overpower a Majestic, or if this was able to work for most jutsus, but for the most part, Majestic still trumps all. If you're going up against a Majestic, Tenacity Rising isn't going to help you too much. So we go over to Robust Fighter. This is just basically just to increase your max health. And when I tested it, it adds a small difference where maybe you can last 2 more hits. But if somebody's firing a jutsu at you, this isn't going to make too much of a difference, and therefore, we can give this one a hard pass. So, we move over to Vengeful Fury. This is supposed to increase your attack power whenever one of your allies die, and pretty much anything that's attached to an ally dying is just going to have to be C rank, because you're not going to know when your ally is getting ready to die unless you're in the party with them or unless you are on a team. And just because of that, this has to be C rank. Now, the attack boost that you do get is alright, but it's not worth having this equipped. We move over to Back from Brink. What this is supposed to do is just supposed to reduce your respawn time whenever you're hit. So for the most part, this is going to come in handy if, you know, somebody's using the Grand Sand Mausoleum or something that knocks you out for a decent amount of time. But as far as for just normal fights, when I actually tested it, it only makes you come back 1 to 2 seconds quicker, which, I mean, how much of a difference will that really make? So for that, we got to put it into C rank. The next one is Opportunist. Now this one is supposed to increase the attack strength of certain ninjutsu whenever an ally is knocked out. Now the fact that they're not specific with the jutsu makes this one a little bit of hard to, you know, put higher, and also just the fact that you have to rely on your enemies, well, your allies dying for this to activate. And that's just not something that, you know, we can't put that high. It's too specific. So, Lone Raging Wolf, what this is supposed to do is supposed to increase your max health in any mode that's not survival mode. So I mean, it's hard to test this one to really see, but I'm pretty sure this one's no different than Robust Fighter, and it's not really going to make that much of a difference in your health. So for that, we're going to put this as a C rank. When we go over to our last C rank, it's going to be Drawn Taut. Now what this is supposed to do is supposed to increase your max charge jump. Now, it can be effective for flag battle, and there have been people that say that there's some more hidden features with this, so let me know in the comments if there are some other things that this does. But for the most part, it just increases your max charge jump, and it also reduces the amount of time that you have to jump. So for that, we got to put in the C rank, but this could be useful for flag battle. So when we move up to B rank, this is when things get a little bit better, you know, and these are actually clothing skills that I can recommend in certain situations. We start off with Power in Spades. This is supposed to increase the attack power of ninjutsu. Now, the amount that it increases isn't that high, but if you pair it with a defense reducing buff, something that reduces the defense of your opponent, then this can be very effective. But for just for the normal ninjutsu boost, it's not that high. So next we move over to Master of Medicine. This is just basically just supposed to make your healing ninjutsu more effective, or, you know, if you're just healing period, it's supposed to be more effective. Now, if you're going to be using this just for healing tags, you might as well just pass it. But if you're using it for stuff like cellular extraction and things like that, then it's going to help you. If you remember from my video, I said that this really isn't going to do too much benefit if you're using a healing ninjutsu that's going to heal over a period of time. So anything like Green Rain Ground Hold or Mind Transmission, you can definitely utilize something more, because regardless, when you're utilizing these, for the most part, you're going to give your allies all their health back. So it's not going to make that much of a difference. So when we move over to Ready and Resolute, this is just basically supposed to make it where you can take more damage from enemy ninjutsu. Now when I saw the difference, it can make you survive, you know, maybe an extra fireball or something like that. But for the most part, if you block jutsu, it might break your guard, but you're not going to get a whole lot of damage. So this right here isn't really just good by itself. But if you pair it with a defense buff or something like that that raises your defense, then this can be very useful. So we move over to the next one, Armed and Dangerous. This is basically just supposed to make your ninja tools come back quicker. And this clothing skill is pretty cool, especially if you're going to be utilizing something like the Flash Pill or something that, you know, where your ninja tool is very key. Now as far as just getting damage, for the most part, I would say to pass on this one, because for the most part, it's not going to make that much of a difference unless you're utilizing, like I said, Paper Bomb Kunai. But really, if you're utilizing pills, if you're using pills and something that's going to increase your fighting techniques, then this can be useful. So we move over to Redouble Effort. This increases your movement speed after you respawn, which is very effective and can be very effective for flag battle. The reason why this one is so high is just because of the fact that you get this boost for roughly around 9 seconds, I believe, from my video. So flag battle, this could be something good to use, but also maybe using something like in a flash might still be better. So when we move up to A rank, these are clothing skills that, you know, just honestly, you can't go wrong with them, and there's not too many drawbacks. We start off with Spiteful Spirit, and this basically just increases the amount of time that enemies suffer from status alignments. This is perfect, especially if you're utilizing Amaterasu or anything that deals any type of status alignment damage. This is going to allow you just to eat away at your opponent's health, and it's very effective, and it doesn't get canceled out by things that reduce the amount of status effects. So this basically is something that's just going to be useful. So we move over to Lightning Speed. If you remember from my video, the Lightning Speed really just makes your combos, it doesn't really make you attack first, but it more so just increases the speed that you transition to the different parts of your combos, which can probably be very helpful whenever you're maybe hitting somebody in the air, or if you're just trying to transition into another strike. And also, it does give you a slight boost when you're charging somebody, getting on who's going to hit the person first. So maybe if you're running a defense class and you have a long weapon, this will allow you to be able to get that hit before they hit you. We move over to All Geared Up. This increases the damage of ninja trolls, and this can be very effective, especially if you're running the Paper Bomb Kunai or the Crimson Star. So that's why this one's an A rank, because depending on the ninja troll that you're using, the damage boost can be very vital, especially also with the Earth Release Bullet. So we move over to In a Flash. This is basically just supposed to increase your movement speed. This can be very helpful for flag battle, or even, if you're just trying to run away, especially with the defense class, because defenses move a little bit slower than the other classes. So having this on your defense class, if you're not really too worried about your defense, since defenses, already can tank a decent amount of damage, this can definitely be a game changer in allowing you to move quicker and get around quicker. We move over to the next one, is Superior Immune System. So while I did say that this doesn't cancel out Spiteful Spirit, if somebody doesn't have Spiteful Spirit equipped, Superior Immune System will reduce, the amount of time that you suffer from status alignments, and it varies by the length of the status alignment, but it's pretty useful, and it's something that can, get that burn damage off of you if you don't really want it on you. The next one, we move over to Clear Mind. Clear Mind is really good because it affects different jutsus differently, and what this is supposed to do is basically just supposed to reduce the ninjutsu cooldown time, but this works really effective for long cooldown jutsu. So if you're using something that already has a short cooldown like 10 to 8 seconds, don't use this. But if you're using something that has like 15, 16, 17, anything like that, Clear Mind is going to be very effective, and it could knock off maybe 3 to 4 seconds from your cooldown time. So the next thing we go with is Out of Thin Air. This one is just supposed to reduce the amount of time for substitution, and this one is very similar to Clear Mind. For short substitutions, not too much of a difference, but things like the Clay clone and also Itachi's exploding clone, this is amazing because it can knock off about 5 to 6 seconds from your cooldown time. So I could very well recommend Out of Thin Air if you're going to be utilizing clones that have long cooldown times. We move over to Intouchable. This one right here just increases your evasion. So the thing is with this, it doesn't increase the distance or anything like that with your evasion speed, but it allows you to transition to each frame of your dodges a little bit quicker. And if you pair this with the Flash Pill or also Uchiha Shuriken, it can allow you to be able to move around and really get the right positioning on your opponent, and that's why we can give that an A rank. We move over to the last one that's going to be in the A rank. We're going to be going over Last Stand. And I really love the clothing skills that allow you to get a boost when you're getting ready to die. Clothing skills that are attached to your health are very effective, and Last Stand gives you an amazing attack boost. Now the thing is though, your health is going to be low, so you're not going to want to stay in this state for too long, but this could be very helpful maybe if you're defending the base or defending the flag and you want to make that last stand to try to take out one of your opponents. This is very useful. And now we go on to the best of the best, the S rank. These Shinobi Boost, honestly, it doesn't matter what you pair them with, they will be amazing, they'll be perfect, and you'll definitely get something out of them. And we start the S rank off with Reckless Charge. This was a clothing skill that I got wrong, but when I went back and I actually redid it, it's pretty effective. Because this one, it does add a little bit of an attack boost, kind of similar to One Man Army, but where it really shines is the distance that it allows you to charge whenever you're attacking your opponents. And this can be very key, especially if you're going up against runners. Now, if you're an attack type and you utilize hand-to-hand, this isn't going to be as useful for you, but if you're a defense or range or anything that has some length, really defense types, this is very effective because your weapon will very well hit your opponent within 2 charges, maybe even 1. And for that, we've got to give Reckless Charge an S rating. So, we go over to the next one, Indestructible. This was also one of the first Shinobi Boosts that I've used, and I always use this one. It basically just makes your blocking strength stronger. It makes it harder for enemies to break your guard. Now, the one downside about this is things like Leaf Rising Wind and Dynamic Entry are still going to break your guard. So anything that breaks guard is still going to break it. But if they were to buff this Shinobi Boost skill, where it could power through that also, honestly, this would be the best skill in the game. But until that happens, we'll leave it at S rank. So next we go over to Battle Harden. This is a pretty good clothing skill that most people use for their accessory skill, and it gives you back health with each kill that you get, which, you know, is pretty good. Honestly, there's a lot of other accessory skills that you can use, but I can't disrespect Battle Hardened, because getting health each time you defeat somebody is something that can be very useful and very effective in keeping you alive in a match. The next thing we go over to is Unbending Will. This one right here, like I said, clothing skills that are attached to your health are the best. This one basically greatly reduces your ninjutsu cooldown time right before you're getting ready to die, when your health's low. So when it's in that red area, it greatly reduces your ninjutsu cooldown time, and this can be very effective for healers if you're trying to heal your team, or if you're just trying to make that last stand, like I said, to keep somebody off the base. This is very good. And the last S-rank Shinobi Boost skill we're going to be talking about is 1 in a million. This is one that I raved about a few weeks ago, and what this clothing skill does, with each kill that you get, it reduces your ninjutsu cooldown time. And this is just honestly just amazing. While it might not be an extreme drastic increase, being able to constantly have your ninjutsu cooldown down reduced is just amazing, and it's pretty similar to Battle Hardened. But that's gonna be it for today's video. I went through all the Shinobi Boosts, I ranked them, and now you know which ones are going to give you the best chance of winning. Make sure you drop in the comments your favorite combinations of Shinobi Boost. I'm going to be playing around with a few, but I'm definitely probably going to be knocking out Battle Hardened on some of my builds and using 1 in a million. I definitely love Indestructible. So let me know how y'all feel in the comments, and I'll definitely maybe try out some builds and give y'all some of the best combinations that I find. But if this is your first time here and you enjoyed the content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe so you can know whenever I post new videos like this, and make sure that you're following me on all socials. I'm not too active on them right now, but I do plan on, you know, adding some more stuff on there and putting some more effort into it. But I appreciate y'all for tuning into the video. Let me know what y'all think about my rankings, and I'm gonna see y'all next time. We up!